our lead coming from Jerry's World. Sunday Night Football. The Buccaneers and the Cowboys made for TV extravaganza. You had Mike Tirico and the shell of the voice of Chris Collinsworth. I give Collinsworth credit. He's now done a broadcast with no voice. I've done many radio shows with laryngitis over the years, so we have that in common. Now, I don't know if you watched or not. The good news for the Cowboys is Dallas led 3-0. The bad news is they had to play the rest of the game. That was the bad news, and it was all downhill from there as the Cowboys would not score again. Leonard Fournette, he didn't get in the end zone, but he had 127 yards, I believe it was, on the ground. And Tampa methodically taking down the Cowboys 19-3 in the season opener. So the Bucs get off to the good start. Cowboys 0-1. Tampa plays at the Saints next weekend. And the Cowboys have a play date with the Bengals, who took it on the chin against the Steelers. But the better story is in the losing locker room. Check that. The better story is in the trainer's locker room. Dak Prescott leaving this game early with an injury to his hand. It turns out to be a thumb problem. Try throwing a football with a bad thumb. Good luck on that. And various reports in the late night hours, overnight hours here, that Dak Prescott is going to miss a good amount of time, that he will be put on injured reserve and out a large chunk of the regular season. So we'll get to that, but let's discuss the question. Before we get to Dak Prescott, what the heck went wrong with the Cowboys? So I've got Roto-Rooter, Humdrum, and Hitchcock. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make Broken Dreams, which is where the Cowboys are right now with Broken Dreams. So, Mike McCarthy, there was a moment that is frozen in time here where McCarthy found out that the injury to his quarterback was not a minor dealio. And the look on Mike McCarthy's face was one of, I wonder if I should call my realtor now or should I wait and maybe the real estate market will go up higher. I don't know. It's going down. What should I do? But the entire game, there was this glazed look from the rotund Cowboy coach. Dallas has mounting problems. The problems are mounting. They just signed a 40-year-old guy that hates the Cowboys on the offensive line last week, which is generally a sign things are not going well when you sign a mortal enemy who's past his expiration date because your offensive line blows that much. The receivers have been dropping like flies for the Cowboys. It has not gone well there at all at the wide receiver position, so they don't have a lot of depth. They got rid of some of the depth. The guys they haven't been that great, and so it's a cosmic accident is what it is. They anticipated a laborious situation in the opener, and it is beyond that. This performance, worst of the worst here. And then you add on top of that the salt on the nice, open, gushing wound that Dak Prescott leaving with a thumb injury. And before he left, it's not like he was playing well. Let's be clear here. He was bad. He was bad to the bone before the injury. It was a scattershot quarterback. It was like he was speaking a different language than the receivers. And even with a remedial passing game, they couldn't even pull that off. Before the injury, Dak Prescott completed less than 50% of his passes, averaged less than 5 yards per attempt, and had a passer rating of 47, and he's the good guy. And then Cooper Rush came in, and how'd that go? So the Cowboys are at the point where they need to call Roto-Rooter. They need to contact Roto-Rooter. They need to clean out the pipes here, and even that, likely not enough. It's a stain. There's a stain, and everything around the star here. There's an old plumber's expression which sums up the state of the Dallas Cowboys after one game. And that expression, which goes back many, many years, you talk about where the Cowboys are, crap runs downhill. And there is a whole bunch of crapola there for the Cowboys. And, jeez Louise, my goodness. Now, before we get back, I want to go back to the Cowboys, but let's focus in on the Bucs for a second here. And how did Tom Brady look in his first appearance in the regular season for Tampa? So on the Maller report card, I did not think this was an amazing Tom Brady. I believe that's a C performance by Tom Brady. On the Maller report card, Brady gets a C. Tampa had a great running game. This game should have been 44-3. It wasn't 44-3, and that's because the offense for the Buccaneers missed opportunities to get touchdowns. They had to settle for field goal attempts. And Brady has set the standard here, and he was, the word is humdrum in this game. That was not the normal repartee from Brady. And they had 11 drives in the game, and only 3 of them went for 50 or more yards. There were many, many points left on the field by the Bucs. And yet they get the win here, and Brady did have a ghastly interception in the game. Tampa did not do very well on third down. They completed less than 37% of third down, and Tom played like the guy. You know what he looked like? He looked like the Brady at the end in New England, the last year and a half when he played for the Patriots, where he was okay, but he wasn't that great, and it looked like he was a falling star, not the crisp Tom Brady of recent vintage. In Tampa, you got Julio Jones, who had a big play, a 48-yard chunk play for the Bucs, and outside of that, he was held in check. Chris Godwin got injured again, so he's out. He left with injury. And so overall, I thought Brady was like a C performance, but you look around the NFC, and the Rams got smoked on Thursday in the fourth quarter. It was a close game to the fourth quarter. Didn't play well in the fourth quarter. The Packers didn't really show up against Minnesota. So the teams that are supposed to be at the top, Tampa, Green Bay, and the Rams, the only one to win week 1, we know that team Tampa Bay. So even with Brady not looking great, fine. All right, last word here. So how big a setback is this for Jerry Jones? And can the Cowboys tread water sans Dakota Prescott? Now, can they? Sure they can. We've seen weird things happen where backup quarterbacks who are supposed to be turds come in and play wonderful, at least for a little while. You get that little bump with the backup quarterback. The greatest example of all time would be the St. Louis Rams, the greatest show on turf, Kurt Warner. But people bring that up because there are hundreds of other examples of the backup quarterback who was supposed to suck, and not only did he suck, it was Dante's Inferno is what it was, watching your backup quarterback play. So Jerry Jones, blood boiling. Jerry loves to talk to the media. I understand he left early. He did not stick around his normal routine. Rough around the edges. Got to be hot and bothered here.
Viva Mexico.
I mean, Jerry's, how old is he's old. He's older than dirt, Jerry Jones. And
I want me some glory hole.
Well, he got no glory hole. Well, he might have, but not the, Anyway, but here's the thing, okay, with the Cowboys. Another smoldering pile of turds here. The Dallas Cowboys at this particular point. Unbelievable. I mean, the Maller scale of panic. All right, the Maller scale of panic, which is 1 to 10, 10 being nuclear fallout. This is a 9.9 on the Maller scale of panic. 9.9! Ah! It's also like a Hitchcock movie. The Saboteur. Yet again, the Cowboys season has been sabotaged. Yet again. They have no offensive line, apparently. Receivers that have hands like bricks. The defense doesn't appear all that special. It's a mistake-filled mess. They had 10 penalties, 73 yards. A lot of those, the penalties where you jump off sides before you even snap the ball. I mean, come on. Professional football player. And Dak Prescott now, you add on the cherry on top, out multiple weeks. So if you're a Cowboy hater, let the good times roll. All right, this is one of the great days in the history of the Cowboy hater. Time to pop open the minibar. Knock yourself out, right? Hard liquor. You go for it. And if you're a Cowboy supporter, you're going to pull out what's left of your hair, and you might also want to find some rosary beads at this point because you might need some kind of higher power here, as Cooper Rush would have to have some kind of out-of-body experience to get this going, right? Just kind of, I mean, please. What a hot mess for the Dallas Cowboys. And will they even go with Cooper Rush, or will the Cowboys go outside of the family and try to bring somebody else in? Inquiring minds would like to know. All right, it is the Ben Maller Show. I think we have Jerry Jones actually commenting on his way out of the stadium, running away from the Cowboy carnage for his football team. Here's here's Jerry, on Dak Prescott and his bad thumb.
I'm particularly disappointed for our fans. Dak will be out for a little while. We'll be dealing with that as well. So this was a really tough night for the Cowboys, but and a really a surprising night. But of course, really add to it right there at the end to lose him for several weeks. We'll see more about how many weeks that may be.
So several weeks. What exactly happened to his hand?
Yes, he has an injury above his joint and his thumb up here. That'll need surgery.
Yeah. Well, was it shocking the Cowboys lost? No, it wasn't shocking the Cowboys lost. Was it surprising the way the Cowboys lost, that they weren't even competitive in the game? Yeah, that was surprising. So if you do the math on this, let's say, what do you think here between us? Dak's going to be out 6 games minimum, you say? So if he's out 6 games, and you look in first glance here, knee-jerk reaction, Cowboys schedule, and let's say he doesn't come back until after, you know what, he's actually going to probably miss, I'd say based on the schedule, the Cowboys' bye week is in week 9. So best case, he doesn't come back till like week 10. So that means he's going to miss 7 games. Of those 7, believe it or not, there are actually 3 or 4 games that are winnable. But you got to have somebody who knows what they're doing at quarterback, which is a problem. But the Bengals game, even with Joe Burrow having issues against Pittsburgh on Sunday, you'd still think Cincinnati bounces back. That game is in Jerry's world. Then you've got back-to-back divisional games at the Giants and the old Redskins, which are now known by something else, back-to-back. That Redskins game, or the Commanders game, is in Dallas, the Dallas area there in Arlington. Then you've got a road trip to play the Rams. Forget about that. At Philly, you can forget about that. And then home games with the Lions and Bears. So Giants, Commanders, Lions, and Bears, those are all winnable games. But the way the Cowboys played in this game, they're not going to beat anybody. It's the blind leading the blind. All right, if you would like to be part, you can join us here at 877-99 on Fox. By the way, Dak Prescott, we actually have some Dak as well. You hear the question and the answer here. Dak had a special message he wanted to share with Cooper Rush.
Dak, what's your message to Cooper Rush now that he's going to be taking over for you, and what you want to do to encourage him now going forward?
Yeah, I'll be there to support him. I'll be there to support this whole team and coaching staff and everybody, every step through it. And for Coop, just continue to prepare, continue to approach the way that he's done for 6 years now. So, I mean, going back to his rookie year, I mean, Coop's always been a guy that I've turned to, whether it be the scheme or whether it just be for help. And now I'll be able to help him in these next several weeks and just hopefully get the best out of him and the best out of this team.
I'm sure there'll be a lot of help there. Are you going to buy him chicken wings or something? What are you going to do? Come on.
And remember, somos Cowboys.
Take him out for beers after the game? I don't know.